Well, welcome everybody to the Q&A. I have missed you all. Josh, my dear partner, my goodness, it's been a minute since we've been on together, hasn't it?
Yes, yes, it has. Yeah, we've been traveling, we've been going all over the country, and everything's been great. But it's been a while. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Maybe you can give everybody kind of like a little update to what's going on at Cardio Miracle. And we know that a lot of people will, we just love to know. We know that we are the number one moving, grooving company in the country. But there's a lot of things that we don't get a chance to tell everybody. Maybe before we start with the questions.
Yes, absolutely. It was exciting to know that John and Jason, the founder, formulator, John Hewlett, and Jason Hewlett, the president of Cardio Miracle, they both attended the Moms for America. They had this inauguration dinner, and they were able to go out there, and they had tickets to attend until it was brought indoors, and then they were either dismissed or what happened. But I think that they were able to obviously see everything and kind of network and do all that. But Lisa, you got in, didn't you, to the inauguration?
Yes, yes. We
Yeah.
weren't in we weren't in the rotunda, but we were in the rooms and the kind of around it, which was just such a historic moment. And the whole time I was there, I had an invitation from Laura Trump. And but what was so exciting when we were there, I was looking around at how fast our country had changed in the last, 8 years for, I believe, the worst. But in 1 nanosecond, our country is flipping over to promise and hope, and that's what Cardi Miracle is all about. And it gave me such pride to be able to be there standing with the former great leaders of our country, because they all stood for freedom. That's what we all stand for here at Cardi Miracle. We stand for freedom. We stand for our rights. We stand against mandates. We stand for you, everybody listening and watching this evening. We stand for you because we want all of you to have better health and ultimate health, and you are entitled to it. And I think in the last 8 years, people kind of got dumbing down and said, it hasn't been it's been really troublesome with COVID and, with our past management of our country. And now we have hope and promise. So it's really been exciting to see where people are going, to see the hope again. I was at multiple events during the inauguration, and just to see everybody so excited about our future. And I know it has breathed life into the company and everybody. Because the one thing we don't want our health taken away from us. And Cardi Miracles, one of the products that we all eat, we just love, and we never want it taken away from us, nor things that are mandated that are harmful to us.
Absolutely. And what is so interesting is I feel like even with myself, when I was kind of standing for my truth and really taking my own health into my own hands, it's almost like I was shunned by other people and put down, so to speak, because I was taking that stance. And it's kind of nice. It's really nice actually to not not be in such a damning place, so to speak, where you feel like you're standing alone. Like it seems like there's some unities come back around, which is really exciting.
It is very exciting. We stand for all of you. So again, thank you so much for being part of our Cardi Miracle family. And I know you probably have questions that you can't always, ask your neighbor, but we're here to help you. So Josh, do you see any of the questions yet? I'm looking at some of them
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Let me see. Let me pull one up real quick. So it looks like it says, can you take extra D and B vitamins with Cardio Miracle? And I'd like to throw out there that I used to take a lot of different vitamin D supplements, especially with my weightlifting and the strongman competitions and stuff. I used to do that in addition to Cardio Miracle, and I would get more frequent headaches. And so what I started doing is cutting back on other vitamins and other supplements, and really make sure that Cardio Miracle was like my staple, right? It was like at the cornerstone of my supplement list, and I was able to cut out about almost $250 a month because I decided to increase the dosage of my Cardio Miracle rather than,
There you
you know,
go.
taking some, you know, vitamin D supplements out of the tongue, or some tablets that would like melt or would absorb in my tongue or whatever. And actually my vitamin D's never been higher because I started taking Cardio Miracle when I was fasting, and that what that does is it draws the vitamin D from your fat cells and utilizes the stored vitamin D in your system when you're fasting, in particular. So,
Yeah,
do you have
100%.
anything on that?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a very good question because I think Josh and I get asked a lot is, do I have to supplement other products and ingredients when you're taking the Cardi Miracle? Well, I'll go back to again, if something is synthetic, your body's not going to utilize it properly. If something is whole food, and that's what Cardi Miracle is. And so we know that the body's going to use it all, and whatever it can't use, the body will just discard. But what is exciting about that is that when John did his research on all the different ingredients, D in particular, because we know that D is a hormone, by the way, and how it helps to regulate hormones, just amongst one of very narrow amount of ingredients that we have, or the functionalities of vitamin D. But with that being said, we don't have to take any other ingredients when taking the Cardio Miracle product. Even if you might notice that, Josh, have you ever noticed that sometimes you might get a bottle of something and it will say 500 milligrams of zinc, right?
Yes.
But how much of that 500 milligrams does your body actually utilize? But maybe in Cardio Miracle you have 100, but it's 100% whole food. And that means the body can utilize it 100%. So more in another product isn't always necessarily better. In Cardio Miracle, you can just take a little bit and get massive responses in your body to that. We had another question here about high blood pressure, fatigue, not sure, and loss of smell. Just to go over it really quickly, neuropathy in both feet, diabetes or blood pressure issues. The chiropractor had him on a lot of different products for poor immune system, and very low mitochondrial and nitric oxide, and bought other supplements which helped. So just to sum all that up, and you're still having some increased fatigue with the Cardio Miracle product, if you haven't, go ahead and start it on a smaller scale. If you've had trouble bowel intolerance, sometimes go ahead and take a little bit at a time and just increase it until your bowel can accept the amount of ingredients in the Cardio Miracle product, or put all of your dosage in a big bottle of water and sip on it throughout the day. And then see if that doesn't help with the bowel intolerance. At the same time, fatigue over a period of time, if you're well hydrated, if you're taking the product on a daily basis, that should subside a little bit. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
And of course, we don't treat, cure, or diagnose. And that we just give honest answers to help you get to your ultimate health goal.
Yeah, and what we've seen with our customer base is that when people are having any kind of when they're not feeling a certain benefit, we do challenge people to either go off of it and see how they feel, or what I do, Mr. Extremist over here, is I'm like, whenever I'm having, like, I recently probably like 2 months ago, I went 100% full keto again. So I'm doing high fat, high protein, a lot of meat, and then that always kind of shakes up my my bowel movements and being regular. And so what I do personally is I went on a 3-day Cardio Miracle fast where I didn't have any meat, I didn't have any fat, I just drank Cardio Miracle and fasted for 3 days. And I'll tell you what, if you want to reset, I'm telling you, just fast. And with Cardio Miracle, it's not going to break your fast with 1 or 2 servings. It's something that helps satiate you, but then also, it's food, like Dr. Judy always says, that this is literally food that you can live on. So it's unbelievable stuff.
Well, and I just had some dental work today, so it's like I'm a little bit numb still, so forgive me. But what is so fun is we have the Cardio Miracle product that you can sip on and you don't have to eat food. So even if you can't chew for the next few hours, the Cardio Miracle is giving me what I need. So that's exciting. Um, let me see. Does L-arginine hurt wet macular degeneration in the eye, or can it help? That is in Cardio Miracle. Do you have any experience with the eyes, Josh?
I do. Sorry, my phone just anyway. Yes, I do. With what John is actually working on right now is he wants to put a product together that helps specifically with macular degeneration and with the eyes, and so that is fascinating. I don't know what ingredients he wants to focus on, but I do know that with Cardio Miracle, when I personally am locked in with Cardio Miracle, that my eyesight is better than when I'm eating carbs or sugar. Those seem to be my Achilles heel, are those two guys. So that I really believe that Cardio Miracle does. It actually helps with any of those problems, because I mean we're just talking about increased healthy blood flow and whole fruits and vegetables.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And wet macular degeneration has a different type of, um, it has a different action in the eye. But again, going back to what Josh just said, he just said it has to do with the blood flow, and we have to increase that blood flow to the eyes, right? And also, when you talk about inflammation, because now you're talking about inflammation on top of, decreased blood flow, that's going to be tremendously helpful. So you not only have the vitamin D, but you have the vitamin E. They're both very important for the health of the eye. So I think you'll be very surprised if you continue to stay on it. Take your recommended dose, maybe a little bit more from time to time, and then to start to see if there's a difference with the way that your eyes are responding.
absolutely. And a question that I saw come through a little bit like in the beginning was, can Cardio Miracle help with asthma? And that, like we always say, we don't treat, cure, diagnose. But when I've spoken to almost half of our, 50, almost 50,000, customer base, what has been proven is that nitric oxide helps with oxygen intake. So if
Yes.
you will Google, does nitric oxide assist with asthma, then there's 250,000 certified papers and studies on the benefits of nitric oxide therapy, and we know for a fact that L-arginine and nitric oxide, it actually increases your oxygen intake by at least 30%, is what I've read in articles. And it's a fascinating study on how that helps.
It really is. Thank you, Josh. And asthma, we talk about opening up the alveoli in the lungs. And again, if you don't have blood flow to the lungs, you can't breathe properly. And so that is very exciting as well. And some of the different ingredients, the quercetin, during the last 4 years, when everybody was having challenges with the big C word, they were having difficulty breathing, right? And they were recommending zinc and quercetin. Well, do your homework on the different types of quercetin and zinc that are out there, and then look at what we have in the Cardio Miracle product. It's incredible. You talk about a whole food, the body's going to use all of it, and it's going to leave you whole again. So just think about that whole food. You're going to be whole again in the way that your body accepts and receives nutrition.
Love that.
So here's somebody for you, Josh. They said that they did the Daniel's fast in January with Cardio Miracle. I no longer have cravings for carbs or sugars. This is always my weakness. Today I went to the bakery, purchased cheesecake as a gift, and had no desire to eat it. Yay! That's
That's
awesome.
that's always a bummer, when I decide to have like a refeed day or like
Yeah.
I'll take a sip of Dr. Pepper and I'll be like, because I'll be like, it tastes rotten, and it's such an interesting thing when you're so locked in that
Yeah.
I say to myself when I'm in full ketosis and I only need 5 hours of sleep a night and I'm getting up every morning and I'm hopping on the Peloton and I go in the gym and I'm pressing all this weight and everything. I say to myself all the time, I'm like, why do I ever go back? Like, why, why do I ever go back and be like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's sneak some of these in. Like, it's not, So, whatever, you know, whatever you need, for yourself to stay motivated, that's the
Mhm.
thing, just to feel good.
I had two people that knew we were going to be doing the Q&A this evening that couldn't make it. And one was they had been watching a doctor called Robert Love, and he was talking about brain health. And the things he was mentioning was magnesium, zinc, and selenium. And their question was and for good brain health. Yes, all three of those are fantastic. They're super important for the brain. They all have specific methodologies that happen within the brain itself. But again, going back to what Josh just said a little bit ago, it's all about the blood flow. You can take all the vitamins and minerals in the world, but if you don't have the adequate blood flow to the brain, you're not going to think clear. I mean, just after having oral surgery today, and I feel like I'm talking with half a mouth, but that takes a while for it to like come back. And you think about how much of what goes through your brain stem when of all the chemicals, right? Chemicals that aren't good for you that cross the blood-brain barrier, and how hard the brain has to work to get rid of those on the backside. So, blood flow is extremely important, not only to take nutrients to your brain, but also to release the toxins and chemicals that go up into your brain. So again, yes, selenium, zinc, we have all of that in the Cardio Miracle product. But again, it's about the blood flow and the nitric oxide. So the way that John put this product together amazes me every single day. I go to reach for the canister, put a scoop in my cup, because he has synergistically put all these different ingredients that work beautifully together like an orchestra, right? A symphony and an orchestra. So when you talk about the brain cannot operate without good blood flow, but it does need those type of nutrients along with others that we put in the ingredients for good brain health.
Absolutely. And I was thinking, I was excited actually to start talking about brain health with you, Lisa, because I'm studying more and more on lion's mane, and isn't
Mhm.
isn't lion's mane like really good for brain like brain health? Like,
Yes.
do you know? Can you expound on that a little bit more on what specifically it does? I'm trying to remember what I think David said some stuff last week. I listened to that recording, and I was like, how does David know this much about lion's mane? I was pretty shocked, but I wanted to ask him about like where he got the research for that, So
Yeah, you can look it up, but lion's
yeah.
mane, what you want to think about, lion's mane helps. So if you have cells that are just kind of sitting there, lion's mane helps the spark so they connect. So sometimes you might be sitting there thinking of a word or thinking of a name, and you're like, okay, I can't bring that to my mind, right? So that's what lion's mane is good for. It's good for memory. It's good for the synopsis of the cells so they connect. And then they have that spark, although nitric oxide is a spark of life, but lion's mane does do that for us.
It's
And it
awesome.
also works synergistically with the nitric oxide to bring the nutrients to the brain and actually get it into the cell, as well as help to get it out of the cell. So going back to what I always like to mention is our cells, if we're toxic and chemically laden, sometimes what happens is your cell has that hard coating around it, like an egg, and no nutrients can go in and the yucky stuff can't come out. Well, the beautiful thing about nitric oxide and all the nutrients that John has put together in the Cardio Miracle, it helps to soften that hard shell around the cell so that nutrients can get in and the junk can get out. And I think that's really important. Again, the more blood flow that we have going past and through those cells, the more that we're going to have better promise with our ultimate health.
Love it. Thank you. Yeah, and another question, someone asked, can I take a double dose at the same time? And I always say absolutely, because I like I will not even take Cardio Miracle without 2 full servings. So that's 4 of those little scoops. And because I like it more tart myself, but yeah, I mean, there's, some people say it's hard to get it in at the beginning of the day and the end of the day or middle of the day. And yeah, I do 2 full servings each time I take it. So.
Well, you know what is interesting about that? We've all been traveling and so many wonderful things going on. And, you walk through the airport, right? You look at the different food sources that we have to eat, and you just kind of scratch your head and go, I don't think so. But then what do we do to satiate ourselves? What do we do to eat so that we feel like we have, food in our body? But really, when you look at the different ingredients that are in the Cardio Miracle product, and then you go and you might look at, nobody asks, hey, can I eat 2 pieces of cake? But it's okay to eat 2 pieces of cake if you wish to, but it's okay also to take double the amount of the Cardio Miracle product.
Yeah.
One of the ingredients in the Cardio Miracle, and I've heard this quite a few times, is chromium. Chromium is a mineral that helps to regulate the sugar in your body. So what I tell people is, hey, you're going to go out and have a good time and go out and have birthday cake or whatever it might be, and you want those 2 pieces, go ahead and make sure you're doubling up on your Cardio Miracle before you do that, because the chromium in the body is going to do an uptake, as well as the nitric oxide is going to do an uptake, and you're going to be able to metabolize the sugars better before, if you take it before you eat some kind of cake and might eat 2 pieces.
Love it. Yeah, which leads me to the next question, which says, can Cardio Miracle help with digestion? And, I love, obviously, we're Cardio Miracle. Obviously, we're on here answering question and answer. But if we shift all of these questions to, is nitric oxide good for digestion? Or is nitric oxide blank? Then those are the real nitty-gritty questions that people need to ask. And since Cardio Miracle has been proven to produce nitric oxide, then yeah, we can ask, does Cardio Miracle help with this? But what nitric oxide has been deemed as is a great regulator. And so yes, any digestion issues, any blood issues that you might have, any high cholesterol, high blood pressure, everything will regulate as you take Cardio Miracle or nitric oxide therapy on a consistent basis. And the reason why we choose Cardio Miracle for our nitric oxide is because we've proven that it lasts in our system for 24 to 36 hours. And that's why it's so vitally important. So yes, I would say it should help with the digestion issues.
Well, you know what else is really interesting? When I was teaching at Hippocrates, there was an amazing doctor there, and his whole specialty was just on the gut. And this is something that has lived with me since then, and I think it bears sharing with all of you. We were born with an innate intelligence within us that they always say, what does your gut say, right? You're sometimes something just doesn't feel right. You're getting an intuition about something. And did you know that the people that feel the most like that have the most connection to their intuition, have the most amount of alveoli in their stomach and the right type of bacteria, they have these little fingers, because what's happening is they're sending signals to the rest of your body and your brain. So if that is gone, you don't have those little antennas in there telling you what is good and what is bad. Go left, go right. I wouldn't go forward, whatever that might be. So your innate intelligence starts in the gut, which I thought was just fascinating. And if you look at all the ingredients in the Cardio Miracle, you will see that all of them support good gut biome. And so I wouldn't be afraid one bit to take it. Sometimes people want to take it on an empty stomach, which is fine. But I would suggest, wouldn't you, Josh, sometimes just sip on it if you're first starting it with a little bit of water and see how you feel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, ramp up. Yeah, when people ramp up, then they seem to stick with the product longer rather than just jumping right in and going super hard and dosing up is what we used to recommend actually years ago when we had these 2 like giant bodybuilders that were working with us, and they used to start every sentence with, dose up, dose up, dose up, and And so what I would do is it would shock people because all of a sudden they'd feel some like little flutter in their heart or in their chest or whatever, and like because things were getting awoken, like they were waking up. And so that's the blood flow that was happening. And so it's not like it was bad or like it was hurting people, it was just shocking people and kind of
Yeah.
scaring people. But so the best way is to kind of ramp up and until you feel like you're in a good state with it.
That makes perfect sense. There's another question, Josh. You're down at the Crown Council, right? And
Yeah.
this question has to do with the implants and how you have irritated gum surgery. Well, I can tell you today is one of those days for me after having my surgery this afternoon. But what is interesting is that the Cardio Miracle nitric oxide, we hear over and over and over again from dentists, nitric oxide is the best thing you can take for your gums and your teeth. Because if a root dies, okay, you don't have blood flow. But if you're constantly taking the Cardio Miracle, and what I would do is if you have an irritated gums, like you just go ahead and swish it in your mouth. And as long as you can, like Dr. Hellman will talk about that as well. And then you swallow it because it starts metabolizing sublingually in your mouth. Any other thoughts on the dental issues?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why we're here. The reason why we're at the dental convention of the Crown Council in Frisco, Texas, is because we're invited back every year because it's helping people with receding gums as well as
Yes.
helping with the healing aspect of their dental implants. Like my future father-in-law, for example, we went out to dinner the other day and he said, I got this major surgery on my teeth and I can't even chew or anything. And I told him that because he's been taking Cardio Miracle for about, like 6 months or something. And he said, not only is his neuropathy completely done with, which is amazing.
Awesome.
But also now with his dental work, I tell him to swish it in his mouth before he swallows it so that he can get that activation all over his gums. And so when then people ask, I take those testing strips, the nitric oxide testing strips on my tongue, and it says I don't have any nitric oxide. And the reason for that is although nitric oxide can be generated in your gums, it does not live in your saliva. So it won't be sustained as long in your saliva as long as it will in your blood. And so when you're swishing it, then you drink it, it goes down into what's called your sublingual pathway, and then it begins to, sustain longer in your blood so that you're able to have the dual delivery system that creates nitric oxide, within 0.3 of a second and keeps circulating through your system.
That's great. I bet you this person never thought they'd have all these answers for this one question. And that you'd be at the Crown Council. How amazing is that?
I'm long-winded, sorry. Yeah.
No, this is perfect. Let me see. Please send. Okay, somebody was asking about an order. Okay. Any other questions that you can see on your side?
Let's see. All right, the gum. Oh yeah, it says, can I take it with yogurt, and can you take it with collagen powder? And what's interesting, Lisa, is that I recently sat down with my 46-year-old beautiful sister Heather, and she was talking about, and she did a little ad with Cardio Miracle. And she was talking about how Cardio Miracle has kind of been like her fountain of youth, so to speak. That all of her friends, like their main subjects are how do we hide our wrinkles and how do we look younger, right? And so they're all like willing to go buy this like collagen protein, it's super expensive, and collagen drops, and do like the all the therapies and whatever. And what is so remarkable is that the answer is yes, you can take it with yogurt and with collagen, whatever. But the thing is that I don't really think that you'll need the collagen as much personally, unless Lisa, if you have more on that, please cut me off. But I was just talking to her about how beneficial Cardio Miracle has been for her to sustain her youthful look. So I don't know. What do
Well,
you have to say on that?
no, what you said is exactly right about the youthfulness, and because what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase blood flow to the capillary beds on the top of your skin. So how many times do we go through, I'm Scandinavian, so I was born in a sauna, but you take saunas, right? And you take saunas and you get that capillary explosion. Your face is red and you're sweating, and it's good because you're getting that blood flow. Well, a lot of us don't do that on a daily basis, right? It's very difficult for us to get the blood flow, and then you can do the cryotherapy or whatever else you do in the meantime. I would suggest, if it were me, and I actually do this, by the way, I do my collagen, because I do have a collagen supplement, along with an omega supplement. Those are the only two things that I take outside of Cardio Miracle, and I take them together, but I take them about a half hour or hour away from the Cardio Miracle product. Just because collagen is an amino acid, it is the building blocks of protein. So even if it's not protein, but we know that protein and nitric oxide can fight for the same space. So what I would say, if you're going to take collagen, take it separate, at least 30 minutes to an hour away from the Cardio Miracle product. But you're right. The average person out there is saying, I look better after I've been on the Cardio Miracle product. And when we were there in Utah all together with all of our beautiful people, and you looked around the room, and truly everybody looked healthy. They all had glowing skin. They all had a skip in their step. And it was just exciting to see that people had come around. Some people were showing us pictures that they had before they started the product and then after, and there was no comparison.
Right. I love it. Yeah, because every morning I kind of look at myself and I see the bags or whatever, and I'm like, "Come on, Josh."
Now, this is because you're driving 3,000 miles to the Crown Council. This is because at Cardio Miracle we work everybody.
or if we're working 15 hours a day, and then I go for a workout at 1 a.m. So yeah, no, it's interesting. No, but thank you for those questions. But yes, and in yogurt, someone asked, can we take it with yogurt? And I mean, I don't know if yogurt, like, I know the Greek yogurt's got like 18 grams of protein or 15 grams of protein. So what we would suggest is to separate those 20 or 30 minutes, just so you can get the optimal result from both. And I mean, I mix my Greek yogurt into my protein shakes, but then I take Cardio Miracle first thing when I wake up, and I always take it on a fasted stomach because I love it. I love it that way, and I love having my vitamin D spike, in triple.
Not great.
And that's what I like. So yeah.
That's fantastic. And people tell me, well, how long do I have to take the Cardio Miracle product? I said, well, as long as you have to breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it's like, your body we were designed to take in nutrition, not junk. We were designed to take in nutrition. So on a daily basis, your body needs that constant nitric oxide, we say booster, nutrients that surround the nitric oxide experience, nitric oxide therapy, but your body needs that in order for ultimate health.
Sure.
I say, okay, there you go. Any other questions there? I know that everybody's been glued to their television in the last week or so. We watched the inauguration happen. Now we know we're looking at, President Trump's picks for his cabinet, and that's been pretty exciting. So we congratulate everybody to supporting freedom, right? Freedom in our country.
Yeah, really sad. Like, really, Jason and I sat down last week and we did this entire, I think we did probably 45 minutes on the Maha movement. And we just talked about health and wellness. We were in our gym clothes, and we had just come from, different gym sessions. And we were talking about how how awesome it feels just to be moving and grooving and lifting weights and throwing heavy crap around. I mean, we like it, right? So
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
it's fun. It's fun, and it's awesome to be able um, to have that energy and be able to have the vitality to go out and do it, and be so grateful for our bodies in general,
Mhm.
that our bodies will allow us to move and groove every single day. It's wonderful.
And also have people in places that they will protect our freedom to be able to have our nutrients.
Yeah.
There's been a big push in the last 20 years that I've been in this field that everybody is very concerned about, having your natural supplements removed from you. So Cardi Miracle works very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's one of the reasons we say on a lot of these calls that we don't treat, cure, or diagnose. We just give you what the body needs the most, and the body knows exactly what to do with it. And we're just here to help you on your walk. One question before we close is, should you take Cardi Miracle away from your meals? I would I would say yes, but I many times I find myself at a dinner and I'll pull out my Cardi Miracle, and I'd rather drink that than anything else that's offered to me at the dinner.
What's funny is it kind of depends, and that was a significant question that I've been asked recently. Like, what will happen if you mix Cardio Miracle with meat? Will it combust in your belly? And I mean, the thing is everything will be fine. We just want to make sure that if people are willing to invest in their health, that they're getting the optimal result.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's why we say separate it 20 or 30 minutes. With someone that's eating like me, like whenever I eat, I'm eating carnivore keto. So yeah, I keep it away from my meals. Sometimes when I'm walking out the door and I just have two hamburger patties and a napkin or whatever, and I'm just kind of eating them as I'm walking, and then I'll drink my Cardio Miracle as well. And what happens is it just takes a little longer for it to generate and sustain
There you
in
go.
your system. So that's it. So that's sorry, I'm getting capital letters here. So let me look at this question. So can you do can you do Cardio Miracle fast even if you take blood pressure medication? I use 2 to 3 doses a day and still fight with high blood pressure. And again, I'm going to be a broken record. Then say we don't treat, cure, diagnose, but yes, anything that any medications or any other supplements you're taking, you can couple with Cardio Miracle, because all it's going to do is help get it through your system more effectively and better. And so if you do have a medication that calls for taking it on an empty stomach, then yeah, if you take it with Cardio Miracle, I only see it helping. I mean,
Yes.
Lisa, do you have anything on that?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I agreed with everything that you were saying. But yeah, our body is craving nitric oxide and we don't even know it. Most people walking around today are nitric oxide deficient, but they don't have the symptomology to put their finger on it. One thing that I found, I was doing a lot of things right. And like I said, I've been in this field for 37 years. Um, and I thought I was doing a lot of things right. Well, why in the world does somebody like me have high blood pressure, 213 over 114, when I met John Hewlett at a function? And I asked him about his product and if it could possibly help me with my blood pressure issue. And he said, I don't see why not. It helped me. And that's why he started the company for a number of different cardiac issues. And within 3 days, I was like Josh. I doubled up, I tripled up. I was doing 6 other doses a day with a lot of water. And by the third day, my blood pressure started coming down. And to this day, my body, you're gonna have to learn what your body requires. For me, I need 4 doses a day, and my blood pressure remains where it should be. And I feel great on that. Now, there's times that we're traveling, we're doing a booth, we're really, really busy. We might take more, and there's nothing wrong with that, because remember, like Dr. Judy says, this is whole food. This is live, living liquid food for us. So, what your body needs is not only the nitric oxide, but magnesium is very important for blood pressure. And it all depends upon the type of magnesium that you are taking. They have over-educated people on the importance of magnesium, I think, because I think nitric oxide is what we should be talking about along with magnesium. But if you're taking the wrong type of magnesium, what happens is it builds up in your veins and arteries, builds up in your kidneys, all the organs in your body and your bowel and so on. It can also cause bowel intolerance. So the magnesium that's in the Cardio Miracle is a whole food. So you don't have to worry about taking too much of it. But I believe the magnesium, along with the nitric oxide, is excellent for blood pressure.
Yeah, I love that. And I take a magnesium supplement at night, and I was told to only take one of these pills, and I don't know how strong it is, but I just know that I was told not to, more magnesium isn't better. Like you got to
Oh,
take,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So I thought that was interesting. Someone wrote a pretty lengthy question of a lot of symptoms. They kind of are bouncing around a little bit from high blood pressure to low blood pressure, which that to me would be I don't really feel too comfortable answering something like that. For me, Josh Hewlett, my blood pressure was 190 over 110. And
Wow.
it took me like a solid 6 weeks on
Wow.
4 servings of Cardio Miracle a day to get it down to 116 over 60. And now my blood pressure is at 106 over 60 constantly. And I take 2 to 4 servings of Cardio Miracle every single day. And so what I always suggest to people is that if you you know, kind of play with the dosage a little bit, like my children's mother, she suffered from low blood pressure, and I mean, she would be delivering a baby in the women's unit or whatever that's called, and she would have to put the baby down, and she would pass out from low blood pressure and freak everybody out. And then she got on 1 serving of Cardio Miracle every single day, and it's leveled and regulated her blood pressure to what she needs. And she hasn't passed out in a decade. And till this day, we've been divorced for 11 years, and till this day, the only thing we agree on is the love of our children and that Cardio Miracle is a great product. And so she buys it. Actually, I don't give it to her; she buys it. So it's but she had low blood pressure, chronic low blood pressure for a long time, and she really had to make sure that she was watching her levels to make sure that she was okay. But that is the one thing that Google says who should not take a nitric oxide supplement are people with low blood pressure. But I have an ex-wife who is a living human breathing person that
Yeah.
tried it and monitored it, and it's worked for her. So just depends on how committed you are to make it work, I think.
But you know what? I don't think that's just a nitric oxide booster. It's all the other nutrients that are in the Cardio Miracle product. I
Oh
think
yeah.
synergistically they work together with the nitric oxide. And the other thing that what was so amazing to me when I started studying for my doctor and naturopath was how amazing our body is created. Our body was created so we are always striving for homeostasis. So it doesn't mean that it's high blood pressure, low blood pressure, whatever might be going on in your body's going to say, okay, I'm going to grab some vitamin C over here. I'm going to grab zinc over here. I'm going to grab D. I'm going to have some probiotics. I'm going to grab some of these ingredients that are going to help me with nitric oxide. So no matter what your situation might be, your body is going to always strive for homeostasis, meaning it's always going to strive for balance. And so sometimes you might have somebody that has a specific challenge, like you just described, and then you might have somebody else that has a different challenge. But how can this one product work for everybody all the time? That's the magic of true healing food, because your body's going to take it. Your body knows where it's going to fill the holes. It's going to put it to work for you. So I agree. I think, but start off slow. And of course, we do have to do those disclaimers, but we're just talking about food.
Yep.
Anything
Whole and
else? Let me
pure
see.
vegetables.
Should she take, here's a heart attack issue. Should she take an additional dose of Cardio Miracle? That would be totally up to you. If it were me and I had any type of heart issues, you talk to John Hewlett and he will say, please don't be afraid to take more of the product. Again, I think it's important to stay hydrated. And if you're on a lot of different medications, seek your doctor's approval with the product. But I would not be concerned about taking Cardio Miracle if I just had some type of heart event. I think I would definitely take more maybe.
Yeah, and sometimes when people say they don't feel a difference, sometimes they do just need to take a little bit more to feel it, and because they need more of that nitric oxide generated in their system to be able to feel a benefit or feel a difference. And like the term that I'm trying to coin is, you can't feel prevention, but it's if you do have an existing heart issue, I would definitely monitor that 100% and ramp up and see how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty.
The proof is in the pudding, folks. Well, this has been a great call. I think that we've answered all of them. Have we not, Josh?
Yeah, I think we might have.
Well, we will.
Oh, it says, is the magnesium in Cardio Miracle enough?
Yes, because it's the right type of ingredients. So remember, whole food versus synthetic. John has always strived for a whole food. So yes, for sure. But again, if you feel that your body, is desiring more, don't be afraid to take more. We have a lot of people, by the way, that their children are taking Cardio Miracle over Gatorade and some of the other, drinks that they're giving their kids. So yeah, don't be afraid to take more. And it is definitely enough for the average person. Now, if you need more magnesium, by all means, take more.
Yeah. I love that. And, and as far as like, switching out Cardio Miracle for Gatorade, I've been told that, Cardio Miracle is not exactly like a BCAA. It's not like, something that really helps with that kind of recovery. And so what I'll do is I'll get my Cardio Miracle up and I'll just put some salt, some sea salt in my Cardio Miracle sometimes, just because I'm working out so much and I'm eating so much meat and fat that if I don't have that salt in my diet that I need, then I'm gonna cramp up real bad, and I'll cramp up in the middle of the night, and it's not fun to wake up to that. So yeah, I'll sprinkle some salt in there or put some under my tongue or whatever, and just kind of do it, So
That's great. Well, you guys you're getting tips and trips from Josh Hewlett. He's tripping over there at the Crown Console. We're giving you all kinds of tips. But yes, don't be afraid to reach out to our customer service, myself. The office has my phone number and contact information if you need any on the side. Thank you for putting up with my unnumbing mouth at the moment as I'm stumbling over my tongue.
You look amazing.
You guys are great. Josh, you have an absolute fantastic time at the Crown Council. And we're excited to hear your report when you get back. And God bless all of our people. We love you guys so much. And we sure are thankful for them, aren't we, Josh?
Yes, Lisa, thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge and your relatability and everything. I mean, you're just amazing in every way. And to, Gabe and Elizabeth, they run this thing.
Yes,
and
they do.
They're the ones that make it happen, and they're unbelievably reliable, and you guys are all amazing. So we appreciate all of our customers, and thanks for all you guys do. And we will be in touch and looking so forward to hearing from you.
God bless everybody.